I think what I want to get across is that we must continue to trust in God. The hope in God is the best option for us, really.
Have you had any experience in the past of memorizing the scriptures?
Yeah, actually I have. There was a competition. It was kind of a triathlon somewhat, biblically, where we had to...
Was it your church, or?
It's actually, how could I say it? In the Ohio Conference, Seventh-day Adventist, a bunch of churches kind of meet up in the general area, and they have competitions. It was called Bible Bowl. And so you would memorize a couple scriptures, substantial passages, and they would ask you questions about them. And so that was pretty fun. The next time, well, previously I was in Christian school, so memorization was kind of a weekly thing.
Right.
And then a little bit after that, I did one competition where it was finding passages in the Bible, and then...
Oh, really? They would just read a passage or something, and then you have to know where it is and find it?
Yeah.
Oh,
that
wow.
was pretty fun, actually. I was pretty small, so everybody got them before me. I remember getting one passage, and it was a really ephemeral moment for me to... I kind of screamed it out just because I was so excited that I found it.
Yeah, so what kind of effect did this have on you, taking in the scripture and memorizing it? And can you remember how it affected your life, doing all of that?
I could say there were some of the basic passages, like passages in Genesis, just give you a basic knowledge of the scriptures, of how the world came to be, kind of God's presence in the world before and now. But when I started to really look to the scriptures for memorization on my own, I was looking at passages like Psalm 82, Psalm 73, looking at Ecclesiastes as well, kind of the more real passages, giving more of the realistic understanding that sometimes life isn't as fulfilling as the ideal would be. So it kind of allowed me to come into the world, I guess, the college atmosphere with a little more of an understanding of the fact that the world isn't as ideal as it should be.
All right.
And so it's affected my life in that way. I kind of am understanding of the fact that I may not have exactly what I want.
Right.
That's what those passages have taught me.
So, well, in your selection of passages for this contest, what's the theme of them, and why did you select them, and what are you trying to convey through them?
For these passages, I'm really looking at this theme of someone who is following God, and they find themselves in a really bad situation. They've received the promise that they'll have prosperity, that they will be healed, but these things just aren't happening. And I think what I want to get across is that we must continue to trust in God. The hope in God is the best option for us, really, when we consider everything. So I've taken Psalm 73, Psalm 69, Psalm 38, all of these places where there's so much affliction, there's so much hurting. And these passages, David, he comes to the realization that trusting in God was the best option. Psalm 73, he understands that he made a pitfall and that trusting in God was his best option still. Even though the wicked are prospering, even though he's still in this bad situation, trusting in God will eventually allow him to come up.
Well, that's great. And I bet it's been quite a process for you as this has been going through your mind as you memorize it these last weeks and stuff. Has it had any noticeable effect on you?
Actually, I think in looking for a theme, it's kind of been an expression of how I've been feeling recently. School, again, it's a transition, and so, again, it's not exactly what I want it to be. And trying my best to stay on the path and kind of having these bad experiences kind of is what I'm trying to get across, that we still need to trust in God, even if the situations aren't as ideal as we want them to be.
That's great. Well, good luck.
Yes.
Best of luck. Hope you do well tonight. Thanks so much for being a part. Really appreciate it, Gabe.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah.